Millions of people dream of owning a BMW. But for many of them, one model made that dream feel real. Not the M5, not the 7 Series, not the most expensive BMW in the showroom, the BMW 520i. It was not the fastest BMW. It was not the most powerful, and it was never the loudest. Yet, somehow, it became one of the most recognizable BMW models in the world. A car connected to business, success, confidence, and status. So how did this happen? How did the BMW 520i become a status symbol? This is the story of the BMW 520i. To understand the 520i, we have to go back to the beginning of the BMW 5 Series. In 1972, BMW introduced the first generation 5 Series. It was known as the E12. This was a major moment for BMW. The company was creating a new kind of executive sedan, a car that was smaller than the biggest luxury cars, but still serious, premium, and driver-focused. And from the very beginning, the 520 name was there. The early BMW 520 and 520i helped introduce the identity of the 5 Series. A practical sedan, a business car, a driver's car, a BMW that could feel elegant during the week and exciting on the weekend. That balance would become the secret of the 520i, because the 520i was never about being extreme. It was about being enough. Enough comfort, enough performance, enough luxury, enough presence. For many drivers, that was exactly what made it special. The BMW 520i gave people the feeling of driving something premium without needing the biggest engine or the highest price. It was the smart choice, the elegant choice, the car that said success without saying too much. And that is where the 520i became powerful. Because cars are not only machines, cars also send messages. A small hatchback says one thing, a supercar says another, but a BMW 520i says something very specific. It says you want comfort, you want style, you want performance, but you also want class. That image made the 520i extremely attractive. For business owners, it looked professional. For executives, it felt respectable. For families, it offered space and comfort. For young drivers, it became a dream. And for millions of people around the world, it became the BMW they could actually imagine owning. Over the years, the 5 Series kept evolving. The E12 started the story. The E28 made the car sharper. The E34 gave it a stronger, more timeless look. The E39 became one of the most respected generations ever made. The E60 brought bold design and a new era. The F10 made the 5 Series feel more luxurious and modern. And the newer generations added more technology, more comfort, and more digital features. But through all of those changes, the idea of the 520i stayed familiar. A premium sedan, a balanced engine, a respected badge, and a feeling that made people look twice. That is why the 520i became so popular in many parts of the world. Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and beyond. In many cities, the 520i became a common sight outside offices, hotels, restaurants, and luxury apartment buildings. It was not rare like a supercar, but it was still special. And that is a very difficult balance to achieve. Too ordinary, and people forget it. Too expensive, and most people can only dream about it. The BMW 520, I found the middle ground. It was aspirational, but still realistic. That is one of the reasons people remember it. Of course, the 520, I was not perfect. Owning a BMW could be expensive. Maintenance could cost more than a regular family car. Repairs could be stressful. And as the cars became more advanced, they also became more complicated. But even with those challenges, people still wanted it. Because the 520, I was never only about logic. It was about feeling. The feeling when you see the BMW badge. The feeling when you sit behind the wheel. The feeling when the car looks elegant from every angle. The feeling that you have reached another level. That emotional connection is what turned the 520i into more than just a sedan. it became a symbol of ambition, a symbol of progress, a symbol of quiet success. It did not need to be the fastest BMW to matter. It did not need to be the most expensive BMW to be respected. It simply needed to feel like a real BMW, and it did. That is why the BMW 520i became unforgettable, because it gave people a piece of the BMW dream in a form that felt possible, not too loud, not too extreme, not too unreachable, just elegant, confident, and respected. The BMW 520i is not just a car. It is one of the clearest examples of how a sedan can become a status symbol. A car that turned everyday driving into something more emotional. A car that made success feel visible. And that is why everyone knows it. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Auto Origins. Because every car has a story, and we will be telling the next one very soon.